it's Miss M, and I'm back with a story. This story is called One Dark and Dreadful Night, and it's by Randy Cecil. Now, in the story, it takes place in an orphanage, and Maestro Van Holting has his idea of the plays that he wants to put on, but there's a little girl who has completely different ideas. So listen to the story, and I'm going to change my voice. Hopefully you'll know who's speaking. All right, so let's get started with One Dark and Dreadful Night. Good evening. I want to welcome you to the Wayward Orphanage Theater. I am Maestro Van Holting, and tonight I present to you 3 tales of terror. And we begin with The Little Red Rose in the very tragic tale of A Wolf in the Woods of Woe. Little Red Rose? Where did that come from? My name is Lily. Once upon a time, there was a poor peasant child named Lily Riding Hood. Now, being a poor peasant child, Lily did not have very much to call her own. Her only possession was a pretty red coat that was given to her by her beloved grandmother. Do you think you could talk about the wardrobe and doing something about this outfit? One dark and dreadful night, young Lily's mother came to her and said, "My dearest little Lily, bring this cake to your grandmother, for she has fallen ill, and it will do her good. But be careful. On your way, stay out of the trail as you pass through the woods of woe, for there is a ferocious wolf lurking about." Hey, these shoes are full of holes. Do you always treat the poor peasant kids like this? The hapless child went into the woods of woe, where the dark grew darker, and the trees grew more twisted, and all the sharp, pointy things grew sharper and pointier. Excuse me, the sharp, pointy things are called brambles and bears and brambles. The sharp, pointy briars and brambles grew sharper and pointier, and the path was so twisted and so overgrown that the thorny branches snagged and tore at Lily's pretty red coat. But this is not what worried Lily. What worried her was the shadowy presence that seemed to be following her. Lily clutched the cake plate in fear, and suddenly out from behind the gnarled tree pounced. I think somebody's getting a little overboard with these sharp, pointy things. The wolf. Anyway, he was ferocious. Slobber dripped from his teeth, and he flashed a grotesque smile, and his razor-sharp claws slashed through the air. Hold it. I don't think I like the way this story is going. Being a poor peasant child is the pits. Hey! And I'm definitely not going to be eaten by this wolf. Oh dear. I want to be a princess. Yes, a fairy princess with wings. We could do Cinderella, but this set is way too woodsy and woeful. How about going out west? Did someone say Cinderella? I can be a great Cinderella. What a nice prairie. But it still needs something. Of course, kittens. Oh, everything's so much better with kittens and butterflies.
Butterflies? No, no, no. Stop this right this minute. This is my production, Maestro von Holting. No more nonsense. That is enough. I'm going to start a new tale, and I want no more interruptions. No butterflies, no kittens, and especially no fairy princesses. All right then, let's begin. The Beans of Doom. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack who lived with his mother and a cow in a little tiny cottage. They were desperately poor, and Jack's mother was ill with fever and a ghoul.
A girl? What's a girl?
One dark and dreadful night, Jack's mother sent him to the market to sell the cow. But on the way, Jack met a mysterious stranger who offered him 3 magic beans in exchange for the cow. Now Jack thought, that's a pretty good deal. After all, how often do you come across magic beans? When Jack returned home with only 3 magic beans, his mother flew into a frenzy. She was so blind with fever that she did not see the magic in the beans and threw them as far as she could. But because she was weak with fever and a ghoul, it wasn't very far. By morning, as you might have already guessed, the beans had grown into an enormous beanstalk that stretched high into the sky. And fee, fi, fo, fum, boomed the voice of the horrible, gruesome bunny. There are no giant bunnies in this story. Giant bunnies are gruesome or scary. There's no drama in an oversized rabbit.
But I like bunnies.
Excuse me. I would like to apologize for all of this nonsense that you have so kindly put up with so far. This is not what I had intended. Why don't we start on the last tale now? No fairy princesses, no cows, no butterflies, and definitely no giant bunnies. So without further ado, I give to you Lost in the Foggy Forest. Once upon a time, there was a very poor family named the Glums. They lived in a tiny cottage at the edge of the foggy forest. Now let's just get straight to the disastrous event. Mrs. Glum had hatched an awful scheme.
Take the children and lead them deep into the foggy forest. Excuse me, we can hear you.
So, one dark and dreadful night, Mr. Glum led the children away. And as the fog grew thicker...
Hey, take it easy with the fog. Hey, do you hear something?
I said no giant rabbits, no fairy princesses. Bring those kids back here. This story is not finished yet. Do you hear me? Bring them back.
How would you like to be in a Western? Yay!
That's it. This is the end of this dark and dreadful production is over.
A Western
with giant bunnies and kittens and butterflies. And we'll all live happily ever after.